Welcome to the deep dive. So if you're listening right now, chances are you're staring down the barrel of a pretty high-stakes exam, the IELTS. And this test, it isn't just about proving your English skills, is it? It's often the one gatekeeper for that dream university program where, that huge job opportunity abroad.
It's the gatekeeper.
We know you're not looking for a quick fix, but you definitely need a path that's smarter, not just harder.
That's the critical distinction. Today, we're doing a deep dive into the sources on IELTS coaching to figure out what separates the really effective prep from just, generic studying.
Okay.
Our mission is pretty clear. We want to find the framework that focuses on structure, strategy, and most importantly, measurable outcomes that can actually boost your score.
Okay, let's unpack this right away.
Oh.
Why pay for specialized IELTS coaching? I mean, why not just take a standard advanced English course? What's the fundamental difference?
Well, it's because the IELTS is a performance test, not just a fluency test. You can be completely fluent and still get a poor score if you don't get the structure. So coaching is really focused training. It's all about performance. It covers test strategies, the very tricky art of time management, and maybe most crucially, staying calm under pressure.
So it's the structure. Let's look at those 4 parts then. Where does good coaching really make a difference? Maybe starting with the 2 passive skills.
Right. So in listening, it goes way beyond just general comprehension. Tutors train you to handle different accents, Australian, British, American, and, teach you very specific note-taking techniques so you don't miss key details.
While the audio is just flying by.
Exactly. And for reading, the focus isn't speed reading. It's about mastering skimming and scanning for specific keywords, all under really intense time pressure.
And then there are the productive skills, writing and speaking, which are, notorious for dragging scores down.
Oh, absolutely. Writing is where structure is tested so harshly. You have to absolutely nail the task 1 report structure or the task 2 essay flow to get those high coherence scores.
And
for speaking, it's fluency and pronunciation, yes. But the real secret is learning how to generate spontaneous, well-structured responses that don't sound memorized.
What's fascinating to me is how the coaching changes based on the score you're aiming for. If I just need a 6.0, maybe general English is fine, but what if you're shooting for a 7.5 or an 8.0?
The whole training pivots. It stops being about remedial grammar and becomes an advanced masterclass. We're talking about sophisticated vocabulary expansion, idiomatic expressions, advanced writing patterns.
Things like structural inversion.
Exactly. Things native writers use that really signal mastery to an examiner.
That's the real expert advantage then. The tutor isn't just teaching you English, they're teaching you how to engineer a specific score. They take you from, I run out of time on the reading test, to, I had 2 minutes to spare.
And that transformation is pure strategy. It's strategy backed by a proven method.
Okay, so we know coaching is probably necessary, but the market is just saturated. How do you, the listener, pick the best center? What should you be looking for?
Well, transparency is number 1, right? You need centers that share hard data, not just anecdotes about student success rates and what a realistic score improvement looks like.
And the trainers themselves.
Their credentials are non-negotiable. The coach should be IELTS certified, or at least have taken the exam recently themselves. And then you've got to look at the format. Offline is great for speaking practice, but online gives you access to top trainers from anywhere.
And our sources all say you should do a demo session.
Always. You have to test the feedback quality before you pay a dime.
This is where it gets really interesting for me, because coaching isn't some magic bullet. The sources lay out 6 common fatal reasons why it just doesn't work.
These are the warning signs you need to watch for. Number 1, and this is a big one, is skipping the initial diagnostic mock test if they don't know where you're starting from.
They can't possibly track your improvement.
Exactly. It's just guesswork, which leads right into the second failure. Using generic, one-size-fits-all lesson plans.
Right. If I struggle with maps in the listening test, but my coach only works on lectures, we're just wasting time.
And third is the weak feedback loop. Vague comments like, needs improvement, are useless. You need actionable edits, like, replace this phrase with conversely to signal a more subtle argument.
That's the difference between grading and actually teaching.
Precisely. Then we see poor time management drills. And number 5, the overuse of memorized templates. Students think it's a shortcut.
But it's a trap.
Yeah.
Examiners are trained to spot that robotic language. It just tanks your score.
Immediately. And finally, poor quality speaking practice. If your mock sessions are just casual chats, you're not ready for the real thing.
So beyond bad coaching, How do students manage to sabotage their own preparation?
It happens all the time. First, they ignore their weak areas. They keep practicing what they're good at because it feels good.
And they put off the writing practice they dread.
Every time. Second, they memorize model answers instead of the structure. It sounds rehearsed and unnatural. You have to aim for clarity, not replication.
What about that tricky balance in speaking between fluency and accuracy?
It's a paradox. If you speak really fast but make basic grammar mistakes, your score actually goes down. Examiners hear speed, but no control. Clarity and accuracy have to come before sheer speed.
Okay, let's talk time. How long should someone reasonably plan to spend in training to see real results?
For most students, you're looking at a minimum of 6 to 8 weeks of really focused, intensive training. But if you're aiming high, for that 7.5 or above, you need to budget more like 12 to 16 weeks of steady practice.
And your target score should also influence the format you choose.
Right.
We mentioned online versus offline. Is there an ideal path?
The sources are pretty clear on this. A hybrid model is often the best fit. You get the immediate speaking feedback of in-person classes, but also the flexibility and review capabilities of digital tools. It's the best of both worlds.
Let's get into some of those really practical coaching tips, the tactical stuff people can use right now.
Okay, vocabulary first. Stop learning from isolated lists. You have to learn new words in context, in sentences, so you understand how to use them naturally.
I love this next one. Record yourself speaking. You can catch pronunciation issues or pacing problems you'd never notice otherwise.
Self-correction is key. Also, and this is important, stick to official IELTS materials, especially the Cambridge books. They mirror the real exam so much better than third-party stuff.
And just setting small weekly goals, write 3 essays. It keeps you consistent without burning you out.
Okay, let's talk measurement. Because the real KPI isn't hours studied, it's score improvement. How do we actually track if coaching is working?
We need tangible proof. The sources suggest a realistic gain is about half a band to a full band over 8 weeks. Anything in that range is excellent progress.
Right. And you also want to see consistency. The score gap between your mock tests should get smaller. That signals you're reliable under pressure. You can also track things like, are your speaking turns getting longer? Are you using fewer filler words?
The sources gave us this great list, the 13 useful tips. These are systematic habits. We should run through a few of the big ones.
Absolutely. Start with a timed mock test, always. You have to establish that diagnostic baseline score first. Then you track every single error you make.
And you rotate the test formats, paper, computer, hybrid, because the delivery method actually changes things. That 30-minute daily English routine is also non-negotiable.
And in reading, master skimming and spanning. It's active information extraction, not passive reading. For vocabulary, focus on learning 8 to 10 high-frequency collocations weekly and then actively try to use them.
You know, our analysis shows that in 2025, the best coaching is moving toward predictable band outcomes. It's not just study harder anymore.
Yeah.
If your coaching isn't showing that measurable improvement, you need to reset.
To really prove how this works, let's talk about a few of those case studies the sources shared.
Okay, first up is Rahul Shetty. His reading score was stuck at a 6.0 purely because of time management.
Right. His coaching zeroed in on the fact he was spending way too much time on true, false, not given questions. So they didn't teach him to read faster. They taught him to allocate his time strategically, limit himself to 2 minutes, and move on.
And what was the result?
He jumped from a 6.0 to an 8.0 overall in just 8 weeks. It was all system, not skill.
Then there's Priya Goda, who had terrible speaking test anxiety. Her grammar was fine, but she would just freeze.
So her coaching was behavioral. They used group sessions and surprise mock tests to normalize the pressure. That targeted anxiety management let her confidence build, and she got a 7.5 in speaking.
And finally, Nikhil Rao, the IT professional with a crazy work schedule.
Nikhil is the perfect example of the hybrid model. He used weekend classes for intense feedback and then digital tools for his daily 30-minute routine. That systematic approach got him a 7.8 overall.
So what this all really means is that personalized coaching finds your specific weakness, timing, anxiety, whatever it is, in a way that self-study just can't.
To sum all this up, the key takeaway for you, the listener, is this. Success isn't about how many hours you study. It's about maximizing those 6 to 16 weeks with personalized feedback, timed practice, and focusing on structure over memorization.
And we'll leave you with this final thought. The sources mention a 7-day action plan. It starts with a mock test on day 1 and ends with a retake and comparison on day 7. This structure highlights the most important point we've discussed. Measurable progress depends entirely on establishing a diagnostic baseline and then tracking your error reduction.
So if you are serious about that half band or full band score jump, the question to ask yourself is this. How can you make sure your weekly goals, writing 3 essays, learning 10 collocations, are actually being measured against that baseline, proving that they are moving you toward that predictable, successful outcome?